So, Cass, anything else you want to touch up on?
Last time we spoke, the Major League Baseball playoff picture was a little bit cloudy. Now we're deep in the divisional series round, and all I got to say is Washington Nationals, as of the time of this broadcast, the 10th of October, the Nationals are down 2-1 versus the St. Louis Cardinals. That's shameful. That's shameful. If they had Stephen Strasburg, they'd probably be up. And I think that the one thing you have to remember is that every round the rosters reset. And there's an interesting thing, as the Reds did it. If you have an injury on your team, you can replace that injured player with another player. So they could play possum like the Killer Bees when they switch the mask, go under the ring. They could play possum, and they can have a shitty player go down, and they could say, "Whoops, we lost the guy off the roster. Let's bring in Stephen Strasburg. If we make it to the NLCS, if we make it to the World Series." I don't think they're going to make it even that far. I think the Cardinals coached like a fucking savage. Tony LaRussa. I think Tony LaRussa is going to shame them, going to make them pay for their mistake of sitting that kid for no good reason. Why not just fucking sit him the first 30 games of the season instead of the fucking last 3 months of the season? That's just straight retarded. Make him pitch the games that fucking matter most. You know what I'm saying? If you have a pitch count on him, have a pitch count on him. That's fucking great. Don't let him go over so many innings. Start the kid in May. Start the kid in June, right?
This is probably the only series I have a real take on. I think the other 3 series are up in the air. You know, I don't think there's anything surprising about the other 3 series. This one, last time we talked, we had nothing settled. I picked the Oakland A's as your long shots and the Braves as your long shots. The Braves lost in the elimination game to the Cardinals. I also said in the last week's podcast that if the Cardinals beat the Braves, then the Cardinals are my long shot pick because of Tony LaRussa, because of, Mark McGwire. They just have excellent leadership, and they got guys there who fucking have been there before. They got that that calm that this is our fucking time, the playoffs, and it doesn't surprise me what they're doing to the Nationals. What the Nationals did to themselves is psychologically damaging. It was bad for the team. The decision to sit Strasburg was a high management decision. It was a general management decision.
Correct.
It might have been an owner's decision, but it wasn't. It shouldn't have been popular with Davey Johnson, the manager, and it shouldn't have been popular with Ryan Zimmerman, who's supposed to be the fucking captain of the Nationals. Where the Nationals fucked up as a team, and I'm talking about as a baseball club of men, not as management, as the players. One of those guys, I'm calling out Ryan Zimmerman, whether it was Johnson or somebody else, but mostly Ryan Zimmerman. One of those guys should have fucking stood up and said, if you're benching this kid, I'm not playing. And fucking another guy should have said, I'm not playing. And another guy should have said, I'm not playing. They should have fucking stood up for what the fucking right thing to do was, and that was to pitch Strasburg. Strasburg wanted to pitch. His team wanted him to pitch. Davey Johnson wanted him to pitch. It was up to Jordan Zimmerman to be a fucking man and say that if this kid doesn't fucking pitch in the playoffs, don't fucking play me. I'll take the suspension. I'll eat the fucking money. I'll be an insubordinate. That's how much I fucking believe in this team sticking together. You don't fucking take your fucking best player off the fucking team because his fucking arm might fall off. You're a fucking soldier. You're a warrior. That's your fucking battlefield. You die on the fucking battlefield. Where the fuck was Ryan Zimmerman saying, God damn it, I'm not going to take me off this fucking team because I'm fucking disgusted. I'm not playing if Strasburg doesn't play. And because they don't have that heart, because they don't have that warrior mentality, because they don't have the fucking leadership, that's why they're down 2-1 in the Cardinals. And that's why we faded the fucking Nationals. I didn't even bet on them to win any fucking series, to go anywhere in the fucking playoffs.
No. They were built for the regular season only. And Garuch, again, it's unfortunate this podcast, while it's recorded live, it's going to get to you people a little bit later tonight. By the time you get this podcast in your dirty little hands, I'm looking right now, top of the 8th inning, 2 outs. St. Louis is winning 6-0. Chris Carpenter came in like a cagey veteran and shut down the Nationals. Ryan Zimmerman is only 2 for 4. That's great. Bryce Harper, the 17-year-old's 0 for 4 in the game. There is no one player that can change the the direction that a baseball team is going. But if there is one player that can make the difference, one guy you could bring in to win a game single-handedly, it's a starting pitcher. It's a shut-down starting pitcher. Stephen Strasburg could have easily, in the best 3 out of 5 series, started game 1, won that game, and then you have your second best pitcher coming in for game 2. And if you really have to in a tough spot, you throw the kid back out there. He's young. He's strong. He'll be fine. He has a horse tendon in his elbow. You got to start your stud pitcher. You can't sit him. It's flawed. If I had Washington Nationals hats, jerseys, season tickets, I would be ashamed of this team. I would throw my tickets down the sewer. I would riot. I flip the stadium, set the stadium on fire, flip cars over. It's a disgrace. It's a shame this game is in Washington right now. They're going to see the St. Louis Cardinals continue to roll over them 6-0 going to the bottom of the 9th. Tony LaRussa is going to make them eat their fucking decision. I think it's good. It's good for baseball. Maybe they learn a lesson. Hopefully Stephen Strasburg gets a trade to the Yankees, so at least Brian Cashman could run him into the ground in 3 or 4 years, and we get a couple championships out of it, because the kid is great. He's championship worthy. He doesn't deserve to be on the Washington Nationals. This team is managed like a bunch of shitheads. They're managed like the fucking New York Jets.
You know, I wouldn't say it's that bad, but what I said before, I really mean. I actually believe, as a baseball fan, as you know, just I think I'm 100% right. I misspoke. I said Jordan Zimmerman, him too, but I meant Ryan Zimmerman, the fucking third baseman. He's the one that's got to fucking step up. He should have did this a long time ago, and that's why this team is sunk. I couldn't have said it better than I said it before. It's fucking disappointing. It's bad for baseball. It's bad for the fans. Fuck all this shit. You know, so what? Next year I get a full season of Strasburg. They might not even make the playoffs. Come on.
They're a good team. They made the playoffs. With or without him, they're a good team. They win ball games without him. He only pitches once every 5 or 6 games, probably because they're babying the poor guy. I really believe you just got to start the kid in May. You want to keep his pitch counts limited. Who cares about the games early in the season? You have a team there. You have a team in place. You have a rotation. You have Bryce Harper, who's probably the best young player we've ever seen. He's setting all kinds of teenage records. He's a teenager in the major leagues. He's unbelievable, but he's only one man. And now he's 0 for 4. So now what that does is it sets up the rest of the lineup. They have nobody on base to knock in. Whereas the St. Louis Cardinals, they're playing as a team.
I saw Harper take a few at bats when I was in the airports, and the lefties were fucking. They were throwing him junk, and they made him look like a rookie. I mean, you know, let's not fucking think that Bryce Harper is a fucking a savior. You know. He is only a 19-year-old rookie. You know, one day he very well could be a fucking Hall of Fame player, the best player in baseball.
Sure.
One day he can have the richest contract ever. But as of fucking today, 2012, October, whatever the fuck it is, he's a 19-year-old rookie. They're making him look like a 19-year-old rookie. I'm watching the swings he's taking.
He's a rookie. Stephen Strasburg is filthy. You got to have Strasburg in. It makes no sense to manage your team this way. Tony LaRussa, I can't imagine would ever do this. Tony LaRussa changed the way the game was played.
He would have prepared a long time ago.
For sure.
He would have either started him on Memorial Day.
There you go.
Or, you know, maybe he starts him in April because he doesn't know his team's going to be so good. He would have shut him down June 31st and brought him back in August.
Guess what, Karuch? Exciting. Revelation, St. Louis just put another two runs up on the board. It's 8-0
Goddamn
in the
right.
top of the 8th.
Fuck yeah, Tony LaRussa. Fuck yeah, Mark McGwire. Making my fucking corrected long shot look good.
They're going to be Gavones next week. I got a feeling. Those bad motherfuckers.